It's a crisis within a crisis for Syrians. A deadly 12-hour-long war has crumbled the country, and just when the people thought it couldn't get any worse, a series of earthquakes hit the north, and with it robbed the little normalcy left on the streets. It's been a week since the first earthquake hit. Unfortunately, the seismic shock has failed to break the shackles brought by the war. The sanctions, restrictions and geopolitics did not stop for even a second. They continue as we speak. Northern Syria is mostly controlled by the rebels, the same region that has been hit the worst. So this means two things. One, that fighters who are themselves dependent on other countries for aid are governing earthquake-hit regions. And two, the government is extremely reluctant to send aid from the capital. So the ones who've fallen victims once again are the people, and the number is not small. The United Nations says 4 million people need immediate assistance. Their houses have crumbled, streets have turned into rubble, marketplaces look nothing like before. Some countries have pledged to help the affected people, but there is politics here too. Nations that are close to the government are sending it to Damascus, where Bashar al-Assad is only reeling it further to region the controls, and on the other hand, nations that are against the government are caught in a deadlock. They're waiting for a route into the front lines. Aid has always been weaponized in Syria. Verbal and physical barbs are usually what travel faster. But when does this politics end? Over 3,500 people have lost their lives. Hundreds more are feared to be still under the debris. And those who made it out alive are surviving on depleting stocks. Our correspondent, Gadi Francis, has been touring the worst-hit regions. She brings you a ground report from the city of Jable.
This here is Jable. Jable was not highlighted in the first few days because of the sanctions on Syria. It was the worst-hit part, and nobody could really reach here to help. When the process of volunteers started, it was somehow a little bit late. Now here is the city of Jable. It's the town of Jable. In the rural areas, in the villages, we have heard that some villages are not there anymore. We will continue this tour to show you what happened after the 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit Turkey and Syria in Jable, Latakia. This here says exactly what the sanctions do to Syrians. This is how they fuel these trucks manually, because not all stations have fuel. This is why the relief, part of the relief, especially the ones that came from Iraq, was solely fuel and gas for these machines to operate. When we talk about the sanctions really exacerbating the status quo in Syria, we mean these areas that are still governed by the Syrian government, and under the sanctions, it is very hard for them to get medicine, fuel, and all the necessities they need for reconstruction. I'm talking to people here. The fellow here is telling me they are from villages around the town, that they are not sleeping inside their homes. Him and his family are sleeping inside the truck because sleeping in the home is scary for them, because the home has been cracked and they are afraid it might collapse anytime. This also is a big challenge for the Syrian government to reconstruct or to rehabilitate these homes, which are countless all across Syria. When we say 5 million Syrians are displaced, some have lost their homes and some cannot live in their homes because they could fall over their heads anytime.